Hey YouTubers, it's Trainboy55 and Merry Christmas to you all. As you can see that I decorate the Christmas decorations on my shelf already. And plus, the stuff on my bed, my stuffies wearing Christmas hats. As you can tell that I'm in the festive spirit, that I'm looking forward to Christmas this year. So I'm going to react to Carson's latest video, Christmas number 1. So, without further ado, let me hold still this camera for just a minute. There we go. Much better. Anyway, let's take a look.
It was a blustery Christmas Eve on the island of Sodor. It had snowed so much that the annual Christmas party at the big station had been cancelled.
Cancelled?
The engines sat sulkily in their sheds. The crews had gone home, and a sad, small Santa hat hung on Richard's lamp iron. "It's not right," huffed Gordon. "We always have a party. It would have been Richard's first." "Oh, well, that's all right," smiled Richard. "There's always next Christmas." "But you deserve a party," added James, "after all you've been through." Richard blushed, but it was actually Edward who spoke next. "Well, truthfully, Gordon, we haven't always had a party. In fact, our first party almost didn't happen. Isn't that right, Thomas?" Everyone looked across to Thomas, smiling in the corner of the shed. "I remember it well. Go on, Edward." So Edward began.
It's just a story.
In the early days of the railway, it was smaller and far less busy. Thomas and Edward had finished helping build the line, and now were hard at work. Christmas was fast approaching, which meant there were always coaches waiting at the platform. Thomas hurried to and fro, making sure everything was in place for the next departure. It was the morning of Christmas Eve, and Thomas was fetching coaches for the first train. Passengers lined the platform, chatting merrily to each other. "Will you be joining us for the Christmas party tonight, Charlotte?" asked a smartly dressed man. "Oh, yes," beamed a young woman. "I wouldn't miss it." At that moment, Edward puffed up.
Edward in his
"Edward,"
Furnace Railway
called Thomas,
livery.
"What is a Christmas party?" "Well, a party to celebrate Christmas, of course," replied Edward cheekily. "Driver's been going on about it recently. The town square has been decorated with lights, wreaths, and tinsel. And there's even an ice rink for skating. And a huge Christmas tree. The townsfolk will gather there and celebrate tonight."
That's
Thomas
nice.
was astounded. "That sounds splendid. It's a shame we can't go. Unless... Well, what if we had a party of our own?"
Good idea.
Edward grew stern. "We're a railway, Thomas. We don't have parties." Thomas frowned as Edward left the station. "Spoil sport," he muttered.
More like a party pooper, if you ask
At
me.
that moment, Thomas spotted the fat director walking to his office. "Sir! Oh, sir!" he cried and whistled excitedly. The fat director jumped. He dropped his briefcase and his papers scattered across the platform. "Oops. Oh, I'm sorry, sir." The fat director scowled. "Is there something I can do for you, Thomas?" he demanded. Well, sir," stammered Thomas. I was wondering, sir, if we could have a party, sir, a Christmas party." "Certainly not," came the blunt reply. "We have passengers and goods to deliver before this evening. We've no time for parties." He turned on his heel, walked into his office, and forcefully shut the door. Thomas was cross. Bah, humbug, he grumbled.
What's this?
I
What
could
is
plan a
Scrooge?
party and still get my work done. Huh. His
There we
scowl
go.
turned into a smile. That's just what I'll do, he wheezed excitedly, and raced back to work. Thomas puffed about the yards, stumped over what to do for the party. Teach the trucks carols?
Nah.
Candy canes in the coaches? No.
Not too small.
Just then he spied Albert at the water cooler.
Albert?
Albert,
What is he
asked,
doing
pulling
here?
alongside. Have you ever been to a Christmas party? Oh my, no, Albert replied. My branch line was far too busy for any parties. Although, he went on, Driver used to decorate the sheds before he went home on Christmas Eve. That way, Helena, Victoria, and I could all celebrate together. That's it, cried Thomas. Thanks, Albert.
Could someone comment to me why
said
is Albert at
You're welcome,
Sodor in early
I
years?
suppose, but what for?
Because everybody thought he was on the furnace railway.
Workmen were tidying the carriages in their sidings when Thomas came bustling in. Excuse me, he called, but I have an important job for you. You do, said the workman. I mean the fat director does, replied Thomas hurriedly. The sheds need to be decorated, fast as you can. Well, but the coaches aren't clean yet, shouted one. Who cares, said another. Decorating beats cleaning in my books. Besides, fat director's orders. So the workmen put down their brooms and went to find decorations. Thomas was excited. He hadn't meant to lie, but he was sure the fat director would change his mind when he saw the sheds.
I hope he
Thomas
changed his
puffed
mind when he
back and
saw
forth,
this.
up and down, in and out of the yard, fetching trains for the others. Each time he came back, the sheds would be decorated a little more. Thomas grew more and more excited.
I like this music.
After a while, he stopped to take on water. Soon to be finished, he sizzled, gazing at the sheds.
What is the meaning of this?
Thomas's smile fell. The fat director stood in front of the sheds, shouting at the workmen. I thought you wanted the sheds decorated, sir, said a workman.
And where did you get that idea?
The men stared at each other, and then pointed towards the water column.
So, Thomas, he began sternly, it seems you enjoy playing railway director. What do you suppose I would say about this?
Thomas gulped. That I've been a very bad engine, sir.
Precisely, thundered the fat director. You will shunt trains and do only the work I give you. And I don't want to hear another word about parties for the rest of the day. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, sir, replied Thomas. The workmen began to take the decorations down.
You've wasted enough time on that nonsense, the fat director scolded. Get back to the coaches at once.
Yes, sir, the workmen echoed.
Wow, what a Scrooge.
Thomas's heart sank. It looked like there wouldn't be a party after all. As
Poor
he finished his
Thomas.
drink, Edward backed down towards the coal bunker. You look a right misery, he remarked. What's the matter? Thomas was almost too heartbroken to answer. I have to fetch your next train, and he scampered off. It was then that Edward noticed the sheds, their decorations twinkling in the sunlight. He thought of how excited Thomas seemed about a party. Oh, Thomas, he sighed, if only there was something I could do.
I hope there's something I
Edward
can
felt
do
upset,
too.
and when his driver returned from his tea, he looked upset too.
What's wrong?
The water from the ice rink leaked into the town square. It's too slippery to finish decorating. Oh, no party tonight, it seems. Edward's eyes lit up. Oh, yes, there is. And he told his
Wait,
driver
there is?
everything. That's all well and good, Edward, his driver replied. But it'll be a small party if no one knows it's happening. You leave that to me, smiled Edward. We'll get the word out in no time. Edward and Albert puffed from station to station, passing the word to their passengers. They were excited.
especially after the cancellation of the town square party. We'll bring plenty of food, said some. And presents, said others. Edward smiled. I hope we get back to the sheds before Thomas. I can't wait to see his face.
Wonder what the party looks like in the shed.
Night fell on the big station. Thomas shuffled around, tidying the sidings. Save for the whistling wind, all was silent. Light snow fell as Thomas pushed the last truck towards the buffers. Oh well, he sighed. At least it'll be a white Christmas for Driver and his family tomorrow. Not that I'll get to see any of it. He trudged towards the sheds. Darkness had swallowed the yard. I imagine Edward and Albert are asleep by now, he moped. I'd hope they'd stay up with me to see Santa Claus. Oh well, he finished as he backed into his dark berth. Happy Christmas, Thomas. Happy Christmas, Thomas! The shed lights came on and a chorus of cheers erupted around Thomas. He was amazed. There was Edward, Albert, their crews, and the townsfolk. There were presents and decorations, and food laid out on the tables. And best of all, a big Christmas tree lit up the sheds. Thomas couldn't believe his eyes.
Wow.
What do you think of all this? Smiled Albert.
I love it.
I don't believe it, Thomas beamed. Who? How?
What is all this?
The sheds fell silent. Standing in the doorway was the fat director. He strode up to Thomas and pointed at him.
I repeatedly told you no, and you went and planned a party in spite of it. You are a very disobedient engine.
Oh,
Thomas was
come on! You're blaming Thomas for no
didn't
reason!
Have to say anything.
Honestly,
It was
fat
me,
director.
sir, Edward said bravely. I planned the party.
Where's your Christmas
You see,
spirit?
the party in the town square was cancelled, a man chimed in. Your engines here pulled through to make sure we could all celebrate together, said a young woman. And it's a good thing they did too. Look at that, cried an elderly man. Everyone turned. A fierce snowstorm had suddenly whipped up. Quickly, the fat director and the crew shut the shed doors. The fat director turned and sighed. Then he looked all over the sheds. It really was a magnificent sight to behold.
I suppose, he began shakily. I haven't been in the brightest of spirits. I was so busy trying to ensure our passengers got home for Christmas. I didn't think to thank my hard-working engines.
Oh, I see.
I see now, he finished impressively, that you've brought everyone together in the best way possible.
Does that mean we can still have the party, sir? Thomas asked nervously. The fat director bellowed with laughter.
Of course, Thomas. Happy Christmas to you and to everyone.
Thanks, fat director. And I'm sorry for calling you a Scrooge.
We had a wonderful time, finished Edward. Everyone stayed to wait out the storm, and the fat director even brought his family to the sheds on Christmas Day to give us coal for our good work. The engines all chuckled.
What a great story.
Thank you, Edward, smiled James. That was a wonderful story. It certainly brightened the mood, added Henry. I can sleep soundly knowing that I've got my friends all around me. The others agreed, and one by one, they all fell asleep. All, of course, except for Richard.
Huh? What is he up to?
Edward stirred. Through blurred vision, he thought he saw Richard leaving the sheds with a snowplow.
Where's he going?
Dreaming, he yawned, and promptly went back to sleep.
Maybe he's going to take the mail.
But he hadn't been dreaming. When Edward woke the next morning, he could hardly believe it. The sheds had been decorated.
Whoa.
Merry Christmas, old boy! It was Edward's driver. In fact, all the engine crews were there, along with their families. Even the fat controller and Lady Hat had come. The engines were all confused. until they noticed Richard's snowplow. "Did you?" began Edward.
"I did," smiled Richard. "I'm no Donald or Douglas, but I cleared enough snow to get everyone here."
"Even if he did wake us at the crack of dawn," added Lady Hat loudly. "You did all this for us, Richard?" Henry asked in amazement.
"Well, after all you've done for me," replied Richard, "it was the least I could do. I must be the luckiest engine in the world. A new home, a new family, and oh, well, excuse me, little fella," smiled Richard, "but I don't think engines are meant to drink cocoa, although I appreciate the gesture."
Everyone laughed, and the celebrations began. The engines had a wonderful time, and one thing was for certain. They were all very thankful for their new friend, Richard.
Welcome to Sodor, Richard. Wow. That was pretty an awesome Christmas spirit video I ever seen. So, I like certain things about that video. I like how they animated the trains, the eye mechanisms, the stories, the true meaning of Christmas. And there's one thing I don't like is the fact director being a Scrooge. But I could see how sorry he was, and I believe that he learned his lesson about the true meaning of Christmas. Everyone deserves a second chance on Christmas. So, that's all I gotta say for this reaction. Thank you so much for watching, and hope we'll see you in the next Christmas episode.